In this episode of Overages course results, I'm going to take you back to my old office. Now, let's take a look at my new office. Here we go. Here's where the magic happens. It's not near as fast, but I make a hell of a lot more money. Trust me, I don't have a fancy office and I don't need a fancy office. I'm very happy with this. Very simple. Get the work done, close up a couple boxes, go about my day. So I want you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this video, because in a few weeks, I'm going to be coming up on a year in the business. And I'll give you my totals for that year, and I'll tell you why I put year in air quotes. And you can see you'll be able to see the power of this business, especially once you get the ball rolling. I'm very excited about this video, so like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And at the end of this video, I will have a tip for you. A very valuable tip if you decide to get into this business, because every little secret and tip and trick that you can learn is going to save you time, help you find people, and that means money in your pocket. More than $12 an hour. Guaranteed if you have a successful claim. Did I just make a guarantee? Well, yeah. If you do one claim and you spend 40 hours on it, you're going to get over $12 an hour. Trust me. You're not going to have to sign up for Uber. In 2019, I was a plumber. I was making pretty good money. I was up well over $30 an hour, but I hated my job. I hated it. And guess what happened? I got fired.
Fired. I beg your pardon? Fired. Fired!
And I fired my boss. It was like a mutual firing. I'm not disappointed that I lost the best paying job I ever had in my life, but it was time to move on. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was close to 50 years old. Was I? Maybe I was already 50 years old. I don't even remember. Anyway, so I started driving Uber. I started driving Uber in April of 2019, just because I needed to have some income coming in while I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. And I drove Uber until about March of 2020. That's about the time the pandemic hit and everybody just went crazy. And I'd actually started driving just a couple weeks before everything went crazy. The timing worked out okay. But when I was driving Uber, if you're in a bigger market, you can make a lot of money. I'm not in a big market. I figured I averaged about $12 an hour driving. And that's not much, especially when you've got a wife and you got grandkids and you've got all kinds of expenses in life. And my wife has always had a steady job. She's always been the dependable one, always. And she was about ready to kick me in the butt. And finally I found Overages and I started doing it. And I want to share with you my average hourly wage for my successful cases in Overages. My average payout to date is about $54.88, $5,488. And I figure I spend about 7 hours on average on each case. Some it's a lot less, some it's quite a bit more, but let's just say 7 hours as an average. If we divide $54.88 by 7 hours, we get $784 per hour on successful claims. And I know for a fact that on some of my bigger payouts, I'm making anywhere from $1,000, $1,500 to close to $2,000 per hour on some of my bigger cases, because some of my bigger claims I've had have actually gone very quickly. I'm coming in way under an hour on each of those items. And I know that you can get way up there, well over $1,000 an hour on some claims where you're successful. Now, this is how I break down my hourly time, the time that I put into each case. And this is just a ballpark. I just rounded each section up to an hour. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a lot less. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what I have to do for a successful claim. I find the lead, that's about an hour. I do a title search on the lead, that's about an hour. I do a judgment search on the lead, that's about an hour. I skip trace the lead. That can be about an hour. I contact the lead. That could be about an hour. I send paperwork to the client. That can be about an hour. And I send paperwork to my attorney. That can be about an hour. Then I simply sit back and wait for the check to come if it's a successful claim. And then my work is pretty much done. So about 7 hours on average. Now, I've often thought to myself, okay, you're making that at in 7 hours. That's a pretty good average. But what if it took you 10 hours? At $54.88, that would be $548 per hour. Okay, what if it took me a full week's worth of work, 40 hours, to get that $54.88? I've never made $54.88 in a week in my life. Would I take that? Yes. So what does that come out to per hour if your per hour rate is very important to you? That comes out to about $137 per hour. Now, even with my plumbing job, which was well over $30 an hour, this is still over 4 times more than that if I spend 40 hours per case, but I don't. Now, obviously, not all the work that I put in, I get paid for. Not all the diligence that I do, the title search and all that, sending the paperwork. Sometimes you send out contracts and they never get returned. So you have to work all this out. And I want you to like and subscribe this video because in probably a week or so, I'm going to be doing my first year total in the business. Here's a very important tip that could save you time and find the right person. If you're searching for a person that you know is the former property owner that was foreclosed on, check the court records to see if they have any other cases. Sometimes there's all sorts of cases that they've been involved in, whether it's small claims, property issues, maybe the city has come after them for code violations. And oftentimes in these, you'll have the most up-to-date phone numbers for these people if it's been a fairly recent case, and you'll have a fairly new address depending on how recent the case is. Sometimes you can find phone numbers in these that you can't find in a lot of the skip tracing services, but seeing as how it's a court proceeding, sometimes these people have to give the court their phone number so they can get a hold of them. So check the court cases for people you're pursuing. Down below is a link to the course that I took from Nick Fullmer and the Overage Syndicate a little over a year ago. And that's the foundation to my business. It's the only reason I'm successful. Well, it's not the only reason, but it's the foundation. I mean, I work hard. I've learned some things, but that foundation that I got from Nick's course is absolutely crucial. I'm building this business like I'm building a house, and that course was definitely the foundation of my business. So I would encourage you to click on the link, go check out the course. Nick has a lot of stuff you can look at to see if you want to invest your time and money into a course, learn this business, and hopefully make more than $12 an hour. Click the link. Maybe your life can change too.